Go.
Hello, Poppets! So my poor baby boy, he's sick right now. So we're going to make him cough drops. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is pickle lemons in honey, which is hard because it takes a long time, which is why I keep a bunch of jars of them in my fridge. So we're going to take a few of those out and we're going to cut them into very teeny tiny little pieces. You notice they look really weird. That's normal. That's very, very normal. The longer they sit in there, the kind of weirder they start to look. They get really squishy. We're just cutting them up, peel and all, because the peel is going to make you feel really good. But the lemon and the honey mixture is really what makes the cough drops work. Okay, and there we go. And we're going to put that into our little tiny pan, and we're going to start cooking that on a little over medium heat. Wash your hands. Set this to the side. And we're going to take a bunch of sugar, because sugar makes everyone feel better. That's about 1/3 of a cup. And another 1/3 cup. That should be plenty. Now, I need to warn you, because sugar is very, very hot. So don't touch it when it starts melting, or else you will burn yourself severely. Now, in order to stir our sugar, we're going to use a wooden spoon. Well, paddle, spatula, because wood won't stick to the sugar as much. Make sure and turn our light on and stir. You want to stir until it all melts.
Artie, why does it smell like lemon in here?
Don't worry about it. Okay, Poppets, you see how nice and liquidy that is? You gotta make sure and get all of the sugar dissolved, and then once it is, we're gonna put it on the silicone mat over here. Now you need to make sure your silicone mat is clean and free of cuts, because if there's any cuts in it, then it'll stick to the mat. But if there is no cuts in it, then it won't stick to the mat. We're almost done, and then we're gonna pour it out. I just want to make sure and get it all dissolved in here. You're gonna stir it. Make sure and stir it so it doesn't burn as much. It's gonna burn a little bit, and that's where it's gonna turn brown. But that's okay, because they don't need to be clear. We're not making glass, we're making cough drops. And it's not going to be clear anyways because of the lemon. You can also do this if you want to make regular candy. You can add different flavor extracts like mint or maple. Maddie loves maple. Or coconut or other things, and just mix it all in with the sugar. You need to make sure and cook off all the liquid though. That's why we're going to do it a little bit longer than you really should, just to make sure it'll set up nice and hard. Again, don't touch it. If you want to touch it, you don't touch it. You just leave it as it is and let it cool. Then if it doesn't cool right, you can just melt it again. Okay. See it bubbling like that? That means it's getting really, really hot. The more bubbly it is, the more you're going to get little holes in your candies, which are going to make them taste lighter and crack a little bit in your mouth. These aren't candies, these are cough drops. But they're also candies. They're just candies that are good for you. Kind of. Don't eat these if you're diabetic. Okay, we're going to pour them. Turn the stove off first. We're going to pour them right on here. Look at that. I hear my kettle about to go off. And you can tell it's really hot. You're going to get a little bit of sugar that sticks to the inside of your pan, but don't worry, that comes right off with some water. Gonna put that right there. And put water in it, because the sooner you get water in it, the better. We're letting this cool for a second. You can see it's still bubbling. That's because it's really hot. You don't want to touch this. Sugar can boil at over 300 degrees, so that is some serious burns now. Don't do that. If you want to help it cool, you can spread it out by lifting up the mat. See, it's already sticking a little bit. You can fold it over, and that'll help make it better. If you do this, you can feel the heat in the silicone mat. It's very, very hot. Don't touch this directly. Not until it's cooled down a little bit. Just turn my kettle off real quick so that it doesn't boil over too much. It's going to start whistling soon though. Okay. It's starting to get a little bit cooler, but you're going to keep patting this and patting it out. It's kind of looking a bit like honey. If you've ever seen crystallized honey, it's kind of how it's going to turn out. Because you know when you see crystallized honey, it's normally because there's a little bit more sugar content than normal. So this is basically honey with extra sugar content. It's going to roll it. And you're going to get to the point where it's going to start sticking to itself. And that's when you're going to want to start actually working it. Because right now, it's too hot. It's not sticking to itself. You're not going to get any good work with that. See, it's starting to actually stick to itself. That means we're getting close. Now I'm going to need a butter knife in order to do this. See it all start to stick together like that? That's a very good sign. We want that. Now, the more it sticks to itself, the better. We're going to keep on doing this, keep rolling it, keep folding it over. You're just building it up, getting it ready to work, making it yummy. Okay? It's going to get hard at some points once it starts cooling just to separate it. But don't worry about that. You want it to get hard. That's how it works. I'm still going to press it out just a few more times to really get this to stick in. Now once it starts working like that, you're going to try and roll it. It's still a little too soft to roll, so I'm going to keep going a little bit. The more you fold it over, the cooler it's going to get. But it's kind of weird because you'd think it would get warmer the more you moved it. But no, because what you're doing is you're using the silicone mat in your hands to absorb some of the heat. So it works out better this way. Don't worry about it. I'm going to spread this out a little bit. Silly dogs outside. Anyways, folding, folding. You really want to get it in there. Now I know I told you not to touch the sugar, but unfortunately at some point you have to touch the sugar. So once it's cool enough to touch, you're going to roll it out with your hands. Roll it to whatever thinness you can. Sometimes it gets a little stubborn and doesn't want to roll. So maybe take it into a separate piece, stretch it out a bit, roll it how you can. It's going to be sticky. Don't worry about that. Now the secret is that you're not going to cut this, because if you cut it, then you'll get cuts in your silicone mat. You're just going to score it like this. And you're going to do that with all of your sugar. And if you don't cut through, that's fine. Because when it's cool, you're going to break it. Do that with another piece. Just stretch it out a bit. It is very sticky. Don't worry about that though. And this is going to be our last one. You're going to feel it hardening up just a bit, and that's good. We want them nice and hard, like regular cough drops. And you do the same technique if you want to make candy, or candy canes, or, well, I guess we're losing that piece. That's how you make cough drops. Okay, so we've given them a chance to cool. You can see that this one right here is all nice and hard. And you're just going to drop it. Drop it and snap it. I could have left them cool a little bit longer because these are still just a little bit doughy. But they'll cool and harden some more. You can use your knife if you want to. Really get it to... Oh, ow.
What is this